Imagine if I told you that a single family's accounting books quite literally shaped the course of Western civilization. That their financial innovations not only funded the Renaissance, but also caused economic crashes that brought down kingdoms. That they turned money itself into a weapon more powerful than any army. Well, that's exactly what the Medici family did, and their story is far more dramatic and consequential than most people realize. The year was 1397, and a wool trader named Giovanni di Bicci de' Medici was about to change the world forever. But he wasn't planning to become a patron of the arts or a kingmaker. He was simply trying to solve a problem. How do you safely move money across thousands of miles when every road is crawling with bandits and every border crossing demands tribute? Giovanni's solution was elegantly simple, yet revolutionary. Instead of physically transporting gold and silver coins, why not transport promises? This concept, which we now call the Bill of Exchange, became the foundation of modern banking and the cornerstone of the Medici Empire. To understand just how groundbreaking this was, you need to picture medieval Europe's economy. Trade was booming, but moving money was a nightmare. A merchant in London wanting to buy silk from Florence would have to somehow transport heavy bags of coins across hostile territories. The Medici Bill of Exchange changed everything. Here's how it worked. Our London merchant would take his money to a Medici bank. The merchant could then travel light, carrying only paper, while his purchasing power remained intact. It was like having a credit card 500 years early. By the time of his death in 1429, Medici banks operated in major cities from London to Constantinople, creating Europe's first multinational corporation. The Medicis realized they could profit from the constant fluctuations in currency values between different regions. They essentially invented foreign exchange trading. Their ledgers, maintained with obsessive precision, contained more than just numbers. They were intelligence reports that revealed the economic health of nations. When Giovanni's son Cosimo took over, he understood that money wasn't just a tool for trade, it was a source of political power. The most dramatic example occurred in 1433, when Cosimo's enemies in Florence tried to destroy him by charging him with treason. But Cosimo had a different weapon: his ledgers. A careful review revealed that many of his accusers were deeply in debt to his family. Traditional medieval rulers relied on hereditary titles or military might. The Medicis built their empire on other people's need for money. Their most audacious client was the Catholic Church itself. Medieval popes faced a unique challenge collecting revenue from scattered properties across Europe. The banks would collect papal revenues from across Europe, taking a commission on every transaction. Most lucratively, they managed indulgence sales. When Giovanni di Lorenzo de' Medici became Pope Leo X in 1513, the family achieved something unprecedented. They literally owned both institutions. The Medicis developed a particularly cynical approach to warfare. Why choose sides when you could profit from both? During conflicts between Italian city-states, Medici banks would routinely provide loans to opposing armies, financing weapons and mercenary companies. By making warfare more financially feasible, the Medicis arguably prolonged conflicts that might otherwise have ended quickly due to lack of funds. They would loan vast sums to kings, often knowing these debts could never be realistically repaid. King Edward IV of England learned this painfully when he borrowed heavily and couldn't repay. The Medicis demanded exclusive trading rights throughout English territories, effectively giving them a stranglehold on England's international commerce. By the 1470s, the Medici network had become so interconnected that problems in one region could cascade across their entire empire. The first major crisis came in 1478, with the collapse of their London branch. Other Medici branches, suddenly uncertain about the family's financial health, began calling in loans and refusing new credit. This was Europe's first truly international financial crisis, providing a preview of how interconnected modern economies would behave during banking panics. Lorenzo de' Medici inherited this crisis. Rather than retreating, he doubled down, using art patronage to maintain confidence in the Medici brand. Lorenzo understood that cultural prestige could serve as financial capital. By commissioning works from Michelangelo, Botticelli, and Leonardo, he made strategic investments. The Renaissance, at least in Florence, was as much a marketing campaign as an artistic movement. Every magnificent sculpture and groundbreaking painting served as a testament to Medici wealth and sophistication. The Medici name became synonymous not just with banking competence, but with refinement and vision. But cultural capital couldn't solve fundamental structural problems. As European banking became more competitive and regulated, these tactics became less effective. The beginning of the end came with the French invasion of Italy in 1494. As French armies swept through Italian territories, they disrupted trade routes, toppled allied governments, and created political chaos. The Medici banks couldn't adapt quickly enough. Their vast network became a liability as local upheavals made coordination impossible. The family had never solved succession in a complex financial enterprise. Banking expertise couldn't be easily transferred between generations. By 1494, the last major Medici bank had closed its doors, ending nearly a century of financial dominance. Yet their innovations didn't disappear. They became the foundation for modern financial systems we still use today. Every time you use a credit card abroad or benefit from international transfers, you're using tools the Medicis invented or perfected. They demonstrated both enormous potential and systemic risks of global financial integration. The Medici legacy poses uncomfortable questions that remain relevant today about political influence and systemic financial risks. These questions feel contemporary because the Medicis essentially invented the modern financial world, complete with all its contradictions and moral ambiguities. The next time you admire a Renaissance masterpiece, remember you're looking at the end product of a financial revolution. That painting represents not just artistic genius, but profits from currency speculation, interest from international loans, and sometimes blood money from financing conflicts. The Medici Empire lasted less than a century, but its impact echoes through every aspect of our modern world. They proved that ledger books could be more powerful than swords, that financial innovation could reshape civilization itself.